What is going on, Niner fans? Jauan Jenings is back at practice. The calf looks good. The calf looks good. Jauan Jenings is back at practice, ladies and gentlemen. Kendrick Bourne came to the Bay for his meeting with the Niners, and I guarantee you, Jauan Jenings says, hold up, they're going to sign that guy? That's the guy I replaced. Hold up. No, I'm just making that part up. But honestly, this is huge news. The 49ers, they got Jauan Jenings back at practice today. Ooh, JJ15 is back. Wide receivers are kind of back on the way up, right? I said as long as Jauan Jenings is healthy for week one, I'll be happy. It looks like he's on the way to go. Calf looks good. Maybe they had a little talk. I don't know. There's no official deal yet, no extension, none of that. But it looked like he was happy. He gave a bro hug. He gave a bro hug to John Lynch. He dapped up Kyle Shanahan, came out, practiced. Him and Ricky Pearsall vibing, dancing. You know the vibes. Good stuff. You know, there's other good news today. The following players returned to practice: Dominic Pooney, Kalia Davis, Yetur Gross-Matos, a.k.a. Bigfoot, and Russell Gage Jr. This is according to Nick Wagner. Good news today, especially Jauan Jenings coming back. It is week one. Jauan Jenings is back. Kendrick Bourne had his meeting with the Niners. I don't know if he's going to leave with a contract. He might not now that they got Jauan Jenings back in the cut, or he might return. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But as we know right now, Jauan Jenings back at practice. This is a bonus practice Monday. There's going to be some locker room talk. I don't think Kyle Shanahan addresses the media till Wednesday. So we'll see. Maybe in the next couple of days, he'll sign his contract. I don't know. But the vibes are up. It is nice to see, nice to hear. Again, Jauan Jenings gave bro hugs to John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan a few minutes ago before taking part in individual drills. That was earlier as soon as it happened. That was from Eric Branch. We saw the video footage of Jennings back on the field. It's great. It's good stuff. So I don't know, man. This is great news for the 49ers. They're getting healthy. You love to see that. You know, the 49ers came into a training camp, losing their players. And in the preseason, they were losing their players. They're relatively unhealthy. But to me, Dominic Pooney needs to be talked about a little bit more. That's a huge return. You know, he's trending towards playing week one, and so is Yetur Gross-Matos. Those are huge, huge, huge returns. And, I mean, obviously nothing's bigger than Jauan Jenings, because Ricky Pearsall was slated to be like the top guy, but nobody else. With the injuries, the wide receiver room looks like it's starting to, figure itself out, especially if Jennings does play this weekend against the Seahawks. So projected 49ers 5 wide receivers for the Seattle Seahawks opener is a pretty solid group. You got obviously George Kittle and CMC. Then you're going to have Ricky Pearsall, Jauan Jenings, Russell Gage. They'll probably call up Marquez Valdes-Scantling, and then they got Sky Moore, who will be a return man. So it's a lot better than what it was a few weeks ago, right? When the Niners were kind of, I don't even know. You didn't even know who was going to return kicks. You didn't even know who was going to be wide receiver 3. So I think this is definitely better. Obviously, Demarcus Robinson is dealing with, the suspension. So this makes things a lot better. And if they sign Kendrick Bourne today, that's a dub, man. Definitely good. Whew. Do you think Kendrick Bourne is coming back in your opinion, says Dalton? I think he is. But honestly, now that they got Jauan Jenings back in the mix, I really feel like this move kind of pressured Jennings to say, okay, I got to come back. But regardless of Jennings coming back, I still think they'll get Kendrick Bourne because they need more bodies. You still don't have Brandon Ayuk for a few weeks, at least week 6. Jordan Watkins, he hasn't returned to practice, so you still need a guy there. Jacob Cowing, he's on the mend. Marquez Valdes-Scantling, he's a veteran, but honestly, he's still not like the best receiver. I'm not saying Kendrick Bourne is, but you need guys, and injuries happen. And you could call up, Robbie Chosen, but I still think getting Kendrick Bourne would be nice because he knows the system. He'd be instantaneously being able to pick up the offense and everything. So I do feel like Kendrick Bourne could be a guy that they still get, even if Jennings is coming back. Because, again, you got a lot of receivers that are hurt, and it would make it easier for them. And not to mention Demarcus Robinson's suspension. So I think getting Kendrick Bourne would help them in many ways. So Clinton says it's Ricky Pearsall. Yeah, I'm just hyped up today. I'm speaking a mile a minute because Jauan Jenings is back. Chelsea says, love KB. If he could come back, it'd be a great cheap addition. I think so. He's not going to take a huge deal. You get him for cheap. He knows the offense. He's a good vibe guy, good locker room dude. I think it'd be great for the team. Clinton says, I think Washington signs him. Yeah, I think if he doesn't leave with the contract today, he's 100% going to sign with Washington because Debo is going to be like, yo, my boy Debo and Kendrick Bourne, they go together like peanut butter and jelly. I think it does make sense if he doesn't leave with a contract today. And again, the Jauan Jennings situation makes things a little bit complicated because now a lot of people are like, well, I don't know if Jennings is going to be back to the Niners. Are they going to pay him? Who knows what's going to happen in that situation? But the fact he came back today, it's big. The calf contractitis. This is what I've officially diagnosed Jauan Jennings with. I was trying to figure out, I was like, calf con, we've got all these weird names, but it's contractitis. He had contractitis, and it can send signals and pain waves down to your legs, your calves. So he got the contractitis, and I think he'll be okay once he figures that situation out, and the 49ers have a talk, and maybe they've opened up things. Because, again, him and John Lynch looked very happy together. John Lynch looked like thrilled. He looked thrilled when he saw Jauan Jennings. You see the video? He's just like smiling like a little boy. It was great. Bring back Pierre Garcon at this point. Okay. Well, man, Danny says, remember Stevie Johnson and Torrey Smith? Torrey Smith, I thought was going to be dog with the Niners, especially when he cooked us, the Ravens. And then him and Bolden were good friends, but Torrey Smith never really took off. Stevie Johnson, loved him, underutilized, and then he got hurt. But I loved Stevie Johnson, man. That guy was a dog. I loved him with Buffalo. Always a fan of him. He's a cool dude. I talked to him a lot back in the day. He still always respond to fans and, DMs and stuff. Cool dude. Oh, man. But unfortunately, those guys aren't coming back for us, and they probably wouldn't make much of an impact for the Niners. But fortunately, Jauan Jennings back at practice. Huge news. Again, this is massive. The 49ers go into the road this weekend against Seattle, and a lot of people were saying, I don't think they're going to win with the wide receiver situation. Now, this changes things. The 49ers open up as a 2-point favorite this week against the Seahawks on the road. So it tells you how much, they really think the Niners are this year. I think a lot of people are expecting them to have a bounce back year. They got a top-heavy team. They got Robert Saleh in the mix, and NFL Network. I think the majority of their analysts are picking them to win as well. So it's not out of the realm that the 49ers could go on the road and beat Seattle, but I think having Jauan Jennings makes it a lot easier. 100%. Yeah, Papa J says, JJ's back? Hell yeah, he's back. Jauan Jennings came back to practice today. Great news, man. Great news. Clinton says, I think Chosen would be gone, in my opinion, if we sign KB. Yeah, most likely. I mean, other than the only other receiver maybe would be like Malik Turner. I think they would decide between those two, but I don't know. I hope they don't get rid of Robbie Chosen. I think he's done enough to at least stay on the practice squad. I think he's worked hard enough. I know they like Malik Turner. He did pretty good this offseason, but I would love to see Robbie get a chance if he, these next 3 weeks, at least at the very least, these first 3 weeks without Demarcus Robinson, give these guys a chance, man. I wouldn't hate it. So definitely could see him getting moved, though, if they had to. Could be the odd man out. But, we'll see how things roll. Again, big news for the day. Kendrick Bourne is in the Bay meeting with the Niners. And the other big news, Jauan Jennings back. I love it. You love it. It's great. You know what else we need to talk about a little bit more is we can't stress enough how much greatness it is to have Dominic Pooney. This team is getting very healthy at the right time. This is great. Dominic Pooney, Khalil Davis, Yetur Gross-Matos, and Russell Gage Jr. That is fantastic. That's fantastic news, in my opinion. But again, the Jennings news is going to outshadow everything, which it should, 100%. So a couple of things here. I'm going to just go over a few notes here. The first song they played today as the 49ers open practice was Many Men by 50 Cent. Yeah. And, it was about a year ago, something happened with Ricky Pearsall. So he opened up about this. He talked about it, but it's just great to see how much he's evolved. And, I don't know how he deals with everything he did, but good for him. Love to see it. Let me take a look at some of these notes from Nick Wagner. It says, Kendrick Bourne is visiting the 49ers currently. Only player not practicing today is Niners rookie wide receiver Jordan Watkins, who's still recovering from an ankle injury. Watkins has been running recently and doesn't seem too far off, but IR stint could be a path to spot a wide receiver roster spot for Kendrick Bourne if he's healthy and San Francisco wants a veteran presence early in the season. So important note, if Kendrick Bourne does get signed, maybe they place Jordan Watkins on a short-term injured reserve. That's a good mix right there to know. As we were talking about Robbie Chosen and et cetera, et cetera. It looks like maybe it's Jordan Watkins. He's probably returning back soon, but it is a high ankle, and he might want the veteran over the rookie. So that's a good, little note to keep an eye on. Again, we talked about the players that came back. The only player that really didn't return back from injury today was Jordan Watkins. So good stuff. Those are the notes for today. We'll see how the rest of the day goes. If there's breaking news, we'll be here. Kendrick Bourne, is he on the way? Is KB on the way? Remember when OBJ was on the way? Now we got KB on the way. Hey, man, time's a flat circle. Things always go around, and it's like similar stuff. We went from OBJ to KB on the way. Yeah, baby. Y'all have a good rest of your day. Take care. Go Niners. And just enjoy the fact that Jauan Jennings is back at practice, baby. Let's go.